morning, and welcome to this week's edition of Marquette in Motion. We're your hosts, Hallie Kilberg
and Miranda Peters.
On this exciting week of Marquette in Motion, we'll be giving you all the details on an upcoming junior high speech event,
informing you on March's Battle of the Books competition for some of our junior high students,
answering student questions in You Ask, We Answer,
as always giving you all the Marquette sports and updates,
and we'll be interviewing our very own Marquette senior, John Herrig.
But before we dive into all of that, there has been excitement in the halls of Marquette due to the fact that the 4-day weekend is coming up for students and faculty.
That's right. Yesterday there was no school, nor will there be school on Monday, so students and teachers will enjoy a 4-day weekend.
So, what will students and staff be doing with their time off? We took to the halls to answer this question.
Popular answers included sleeping and watching Netflix,
visiting friends for the weekend,
playing or watching Marquette basketball as the Mohawks continue tournament play,
going to church.
Some will be going on a college visit, with one stop being St. Ambrose,
enjoying a fun weekend at the Dells,
and some students will spend their Monday at the high school speech competition in El Burnett.
One teacher will even be going to Happy Joe's, to Build-A-Bear workshop, and to Vertical Jump.
Other teachers say they will spend their President's Day simply cleaning their home,
or spending time with their own children.
And, of course, planning for upcoming lessons, tests, and quizzes.
In honor of Monday's celebration of President's Day, we made up our own little quiz. We will be asking our fellow You Ask, We Answer reporters to see if they know not only how to give advice, but also if they know their president trivia. Are you guys ready for a pop quiz?
We're ready.
All right, the first question is for Sam. Who is the only president to be elected for 2 non-consecutive terms?
I have to think on this one. I'm thinking Teddy Roosevelt.
Nope, it was Grover Cleveland.
All right, John, who was the only president to be approved by the Electoral College unanimously?
I do not know.
Was it our first, George Washington?
That's correct.
Okay, Sam is winning as of now. Okay, Sam, how many future presidents signed the Declaration of Independence?
I know some of them didn't become presidents, like Ben Franklin, but I'd have to go with 6.
It was actually 2. It was John Adams and Thomas Jefferson.
For John, who was the first president to appear on TV?
I think, would that have been John F. Kennedy?
Incorrect. It was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And who was the first president to be born west of the Mississippi?
I have no idea where all the presidents were born. Sam, do you know?
Wasn't it Herbert Hoover?
That's correct.
Okay, so that makes Sam our winner. Thanks for playing, guys.
And the presidents aren't the only people giving various speeches. Here to tell us about the junior high speech contest is Justina Denlinger.
The junior high speech competition will be held Friday, February 24th at Beckman High School in Dyersville. Speech is a competition in which students select, practice, and perform literature pieces. Our middle school speech team is coached by Mrs. Julie Schrader, who has been helping students prepare for this competition for weeks. At the competition, participants are given a rating based on their performance. Students can receive a 3, 2, or 1 rating, with 1 being the best rating that a student can receive. Those ratings, along with helpful comments, will be given by seasoned high school speech participants. It's worth noting that middle school speech is quite a bit different from high school speech. At the high school level, students have the opportunity to advance to state and even all-state if they perform well. Middle school speech only has 1 performance opportunity. There are also different categories that students can participate in. The options in middle school are the more basic categories: mime, poetry, prose, acting, and storytelling. The middle schoolers who will be participating in this activity include 7th graders Holly Beecham, Sophie Long, Allison Ketman, Kaylee Coos, Christian Prohl, and Nolan Tracy. And 8th graders Jake Anderson, Delaney Bandowitz, Emma Callahan, Macy Heim, Hannah Litter, Molly Minster, Beatrice Kemp, Tristan Pfiffner, Jenna Rowan, Josie Tyson, and Mara Tracy. Well, we certainly wish all of our students the best. We know you'll make us proud. From Marquette in Motion, this has been Justina Denlinger. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now is Katherine Heimbuck to give you coverage on the Battle of the Books.
There's a battle happening at Marquette. No, it's not a battle with swords and shields, although that would be a spectacle. It's a battle of books. Participants from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade are divided into teams. Each team is given the same list of over 20 books and as a team needs to ensure that someone on their team read each book. During the Battle of the Books competition, a moderator asks questions regarding details from a book. The team needs to determine which book relates to the question. This event is overseen by junior high language arts teacher Mr. Josh Erickson and Marquette librarian Mrs. Gloria Pedish. Participation in the Battle of the Books is greatly encouraged and a lot of fun. It also helps kids increase their reading ability and introduces them to new books that maybe they would have never read before. The Battle of the Books will be held sometime in the last week of March. And in addition to the multiple Marquette teams, middle school students from Andrew will be competing as well. Now, if you would like to know who is competing from our school, here is a list. From 6th grade, Ella Tracy, Gavin O'Brien, Trevor Klein, Mallory Griffin, and Elise Kilberg will be competing. And for 7th grade, Allison Ketman, Holly Beecham, Ireland Sieverding, Rachel Rowan, Kaylee Coos, Nolan Tracy, Sophie Long, and Christian Proul. And from 8th grade, Emma Callahan, Macy Heim, Jenna Rowan, and Josie Tyson. Thank you for listening. This has been Catherine Heimbuck from Marquette in Motion.
Thanks, Catherine. Up next are Sam Peters and John Herrig to answer the advice-related questions, and you ask, we answer. Are you guys ready?
Always.
All right, the first question reads, I'm doing individual speech this year, but I can't decide on what category I want to perform in. What should I do?
Well, I've done individual speech a time or two, and I think some great categories to do would be storytelling, prose, or if you're feeling more adventurous, maybe individual improv, and maybe even try out radio news.
Okay, the next question reads, I'm an understudy for a main role in the upcoming Marquette musical, The Wizard of Oz. However, it is very unlikely that I will ever need to perform this, so how much time should I really put into memorizing the part?
You never know if something weird is going to happen where the person that you're the understudy for gets hurt or sick. So just make sure that you know your lines and your blocking and everything to the point where you can easily do it on the spot and not have much difficulty doing it.
And the last question is, my siblings and I have to do chores around the house, but sometimes my younger siblings don't pull their weight and get away with it. Do I talk to my parents, my younger sibling, or just continue to pick up the slack myself?
I think the best option would be to talk to your younger sibling first, and if they are being stubborn and don't listen like most younger siblings do, then I definitely think you should talk to your parents. But try and get along with your siblings. They'll be there forever.
Thanks for all the great advice, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Marquette in Motion after the break.
Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now with all the sports and updates are Sam Peters and Jonathan Herrig.
Thanks, Miranda. Because they had a bye week, Marquette's varsity girls basketball team started out their road to state by playing round 2 at home against Central City this past Tuesday. The girls came prepared and were able to get a victory by a rather large margin with a final score of 65-28.
Thanks, Jonathan. We will not only have the results from the varsity boys' first district game played Thursday against Cowee, but the outcome of the third round of district play for the girls next week. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Sam Peters.
And Jonathan Herrig.
With your brief Marquette Sports and Updates report.
Thanks, guys. And don't go far, John. You're our Marquette senior. Here now interviewing John Herrig are Kelsey Gerlach and Brooklyn Moore.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brooklyn Moore.
And I'm Kelsey Gerlach.
Today, we'll be interviewing Jonathan Herrig, who's a senior at Marquette. Would you mind starting off by telling our audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I have 2 older sisters that both go to Clark University currently, and I live on a farm about 10 minutes north of Bellevue here.
What are some activities that you participate in inside or outside of school?
I'm involved in basketball, cross country, track, student council, the play, musical, speech, honor society. I think that's it.
What's your favorite activity?
Inside or outside of school?
Either one.
My favorite activity would probably be basketball. I've always liked the sport. I've played since about 7th grade, I think, and I've just always enjoyed playing it.
Why should someone play basketball?
Well, this can go for all sports. It's just really nice to be able to be with your friends and to be on a team in that environment and be able to work together to get the common goal, which is whatever the sport requires you to do, which is use teamwork in order to score the most points.
So, where do you plan to go to college?
As of now, I am most likely going to be going to Kirkwood Community College up in Cedar Rapids.
What made you want to go there?
I didn't think that I would want to go for 4 years, so I went the 2-year route in order to get my degree for agricultural production, which is what I'm going for.
So, what made you interested in that?
I've lived on a farm my entire life, and I have enjoyed many of the aspects of it, and just the environment that it provides, and it's something that I want to continue doing.
Okay, we're going to switch gears from serious to fun questions now. If you feel comfortable answering, what is your most embarrassing moment?
I think my most embarrassing moment that I can remember is probably when I was in The Sound of Music and I came on stage one of the times. I didn't know this, but the person that I was communicating with on stage afterwards told me that my fly was down the entire time. I don't know if the people that were watching noticed, but that was pretty embarrassing to find out.
So, I think you like this next question. If you could have one superpower, what would you want it to be?
I would probably like to fly because, birds just got it so easy. They can get to places so fast, and I think that would be a great thing to be able to do.
Okay, last question. What is the best piece of advice you could give an underclassman?
With whatever you're doing, just try your hardest right from the get-go, and we all know that procrastination is becoming more and more common and more difficult to avoid, but just try your hardest to avoid those temptations to get off task and not being productive.
Well, that concludes our interview. Thanks for letting us interview you, John, and thanks to all of our listeners. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Brooklyn Moore.
And Kelsey Gerlach.
With Tell Us More.
Thanks for reporting, everyone.
And thank you for tuning in. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Hallie Kilberg
And Miranda Peters. And remember, stay informed, stay involved, stay in motion.